Good morning, brothers and sisters. This is a prophecy update entitled A Fallen Civilization. Here are some recent events that appear to indicate that the rapture is close. Concerning the rise of godlessness and the decline of America, on September 15th, Governor Newsom launched a billboard campaign in several states that misuse scriptures to support abortion. On September 29th, a famous California pastor, John MacArthur, responded to Newsom in an open letter saying, quote, "You revealed to the entire nation how thoroughly rebellious against God you are when you sponsored billboards across America promoting the slaughter of children, whom he creates in the womb." He also says you further compounded the wickedness of that murderous campaign with a reprehensible act of gross blasphemy, quoting the very words of Jesus from Mark chapter 12, verse 31, as if you could somehow twist his meaning and arrogate his name in favor of butchering unborn infants. The diabolical effect of your worldview can be seen in California's epidemics of crime, homelessness, perversions, and other expressions of human misery that stem directly from the corrupt public policy. And lastly, you will stand in the presence of the holy God who created you, who is your judge, and he will demand that you give an account for how you flouted his authority in your governing and how you twisted his own holy word to rationalize it. As you look over the precipice of eternity, what will your answer be? MacArthur ended his open letter to Newsom by saying MacArthur's church and many Christians are praying for him and urging him to fully repent. Concerning the impact of godlessness on America, on September 30th, it was reported that America's weapons stockpiles are dangerously low because our government has used a presidential drawdown 20 times since August 2021 to send military equipment to Ukraine. According to the report, the Department of Defense officials have indicated that our low inventory would be considered problematic during wartime. Many citizens have family in the military, and all of us are counting on our military to defend our nation, but they can't do it without weapons. On September 26th through the 29th, at least 4 very large underwater leaks were detected on the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines. Several world leaders said the leaks appeared to be sabotage, but no one offered proof. One prophecy teacher said only 2 nations, Russia and the United States, have the ability to blow up a pipeline in water as deep as the Baltic Sea, where the presumed explosions occurred. If the pipelines were sabotaged, it is unclear who did it, but many officials believe the United States is the most likely suspect. Some referred to the statements made by U.S. officials. Senator Ron Johnson, "I certainly hope the Senate Foreign Relations Committee would take up legislation to go beyond suspending it, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, but to ending it permanently." Victoria Nuland in January of 2022 said if Russia invades Ukraine one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move forward. And lastly, Joe Biden in February of 2002 said if Russia invades Ukraine, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again, then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring it to an end. It may take many months, if ever, to repair the pipelines, and their being out of service is costing Russia a fortune. Concerning the return of Jews to the Promised Land, on September 23rd, it was reported that Russia's calling up 300,000 reserve troops to fight the war in Ukraine has caused a surge in requests by Jews wanting to immigrate to Israel. Because of the war, the European Union has placed sanctions on Russia, and only 2 airlines are still flying out of Russia. It is unclear how the Jews will get out, but Israel is preparing for a large wave of immigrants. Concerning the division of Israel, on September 21st, Biden endorsed the two-state solution in a speech at the UN. On September 22nd, interim Israeli Prime Minister endorsed it at the UN, and Biden spoke out in agreement with Lapid's statement. On September 28th, exactly 1 week later, a very large and powerful hurricane named Ian took the lives of many and heaped great damage on Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and other parts of the United States. It seems normal for a natural disaster to strike the United States when America's leaders publicly express support for the division of Israel. Concerning pandemics and food shortages, on September 30th, it was reported that a virus has killed about 100,000 cows and buffaloes in India and has sickened more than 2 million more that will die if left untreated. The disease is contagious. It is spreading to other countries, and it causes sick animals to give less milk. Concerning an increase in the frequency and intensity of natural disasters, at the time of this writing, the death toll from Hurricane Ian was about 105. Thousands of people had to be rescued. 2.6 million people were without electricity. Some areas got more than 31 inches of rain. About 1/3 of the people have flood insurance, and some have lost everything. Concerning perilous times, President Putin said he will use every weapon, including nuclear weapons, at his disposal to win the war with Ukraine. On October 4th, it was reported that Ukraine is sending potassium iodine pills to evacuation centers for public distribution in case Russia follows through on the use of nuclear weapons. Concerning hyperinflation and a global economic collapse, on October 4th, America's gross national debt topped $31 trillion for the first time in history. The U.S. Federal Reserve keeps increasing interest rates to try to slow the increase in inflation, but higher interest rates are causing America's national debt to keep soaring. Finally, are you rapture ready?